Pass Around the Smile is like your go-to friend, the one that lifts you up and backs you till the end. She's there to guide and inspire, challenge and teach, and remind you that your best self isn't out of reach. Self-development, manifestation, self-love and more, it's time to trust the process more than ever before. Welcome to Pass Around the Smile, the podcast. I'm your host, Cleo Massey, and I am so glad you're here. Let the magic begin. Hello, my smileys, and welcome back to another Pass Around the Smile episode. Today we have a beautiful guest, and I tell you, you are going to absolutely love Reece. And within this episode, we have a live EFT tapping session. So you can come back to this episode as many times as you want and do this very powerful tapping session over and over again. But before we get into the episode, I wanted to thank today's sponsor, which is Community Brew. They are a drinks company and they know how to do it. I like to think that I'm a little bit of a kombucha connoisseur. I really love my kombucha, but I know the good ones. I know how they should taste. I know the health benefits they should have. And I tell you what, Community Brew tick all the boxes. If you're watching the video, you can see I'm actually sipping on one right now. I'm sipping on their raspberry blossom flavor, which is so yummy. And what I love about this one is it actually has raspberry leaf and hibiscus within it, which are herbs that really support hormonal balance, and they're also rich in nutrients and antioxidants. But what I thought my smileys would really love, like extra love, is their cold matter, which is a cold brew tea that they have, and it contains L-theanine. Apparently you can say it L-theanine and L-theanine, so whatever floats your boat, but it is said that it reduces stress and anxiety. So what a beautiful drink to sip on. Like they have mango, watermelon, peach, passion fruit, like yum. But what a beautiful drink to sip on when you do know, if you have something coming up that you're nervous about or you're anxious about, or you're having just a down day where you just need to breathe and stop. I think it's a nice drink to sip on before a meditation, during a journaling session, or even during this episode when you're coming in and doing a live EFT tapping session. Beautiful brand. I picked mine up from my local Flannery's, which is in Miami on the Gold Coast, but you can also get Community Brew at Woolworths Metro. So yeah, thanks Community Brew for sponsoring this episode. Let's get into it.
Hello, Reese, and welcome to the Pass Around the Smile podcast.
Hi, I'm so excited to be here. Thanks for having me.
Oh my gosh, you are so welcome. We are just going to jump straight in because I know my community are going to love you and they're going to love what you do. I reckon quite a lot of my community will have no idea what EFT tapping actually is, but I am 100% certain that they will all love it because they're all manifestors, they're meditators, they're very into their self and spiritual development journey. So this is very exciting. Now, I kind of want to start with something a little bit more personal, if that's okay, is you've obviously created this incredibly powerful brand with Yes Supply, but I want to start with personally, how did you discover EFT and how did it kind of begin to shift your life personally?
Yeah, actually, how I discovered EFT was through Gala Darling, who also now has a EFT certificate, and she's amazing. If you check out her brand, she's like pink and bubbly and sparkly and beautiful. And so back when Yes Supply started, I actually didn't know anything about coaching. I had done my own mindset work, but it was mostly just from like reading personal development books and getting outside of my comfort zone. And one of the first people I interviewed for my blog was Gala Darling. And I remember like she is a big deal and was a big deal. And I remember being like so nervous, and I like deleted everything off my computer to make sure that like everything in the interview would go perfectly. But yeah, she just she let me interview her about her experience as a personal development leader, and she shared how EFT was one of the things that helped her release her anxiety, and I believe release one of her allergies too, or asthma. Actually, it was asthma. Yeah, and
Wow.
she had a little mini course called, what was it called? Tap that.
Tap that.
I feel like I'm like accessing like a resource,
I love that.
recess of my subconscious. I haven't been in a long time. Yeah, she had a little course called Tap That, and that was actually my first foray into EFT, and later actually worked with her as a coach. And so that was my first, intro to EFT. Before that, I had never heard of it. And then later on, as I began coaching and helping people, I realized like if I want to be really good at what I do, I have to understand how the subconscious mind works. And so I started getting certified in NLP, and actually the place where I got certified in NLP, which is Neuro-Linguistic Programming, also included EFT tapping. So then not only did I know it
Oh,
from like a client or customer course perspective, now I also knew how to lead it as a coach, which was amazing for me.
wow. So what is EFT and what is NLP?
Oh, okay. Yeah. So EFT is called emotional freedom techniques. And, it just can blow your mind to know, if you're feeling sad, if you're feeling anxious, even sometimes if you're dealing with pain or limiting beliefs or patterns that hold you back. Often we feel like, oh, well, I've always been this way, so it just has to stay that way. But that's not the case. Actually, EFT can be so powerful to transform that. And so, what EFT does is us as energy, we're all made of energy, and we have energy meridian points on our body. And so when you tap on these energy meridian points while focusing in on the negative emotion or pain, it actually helps alleviate the feeling. So you can go from fearful or anxious or stressed or in pain to feeling light and clear headed in just a matter of minutes.
That is incredible. And for
Mhm.
my listeners too, who aren't watching the video, we are going to do a little live tapping session with Reese a little bit later. But you've probably seen it on social media where people are actually physically tapping like their forehead and then their cheeks. That is what EFT is. You may have seen it visually, but you didn't know what it was. That is EFT. Is that right?
Yes, yes,
Yeah.
absolutely. And how it's so powerful is essentially like if you're stressed, if you're anxious, if you're in fear, your amygdala is activated, right? It's thinking that there's a threat, that there's a lion chasing you through the jungle, even when it's just the threat is someone posted something mean on social media or your report for work is due tonight and you haven't
Mm,
started it yet, right? So, because on a deep subconscious level, we often can't differentiate a threat of like being eaten by a lion versus the report being late. Our body goes into fight or flight, and that can cause so much harm in terms of like our creativity. If you're in fight or flight for a long time, it could lead to disease or stress issues. And so what happens is when you tap on these energy meridian points, similar to the points that you might use if you go to an acupuncturist, it sends
mm,
a message to your amygdala to let you know you're safe, that there is no lion, that you're going to be okay. If the report is a little bit late, it's going to be fine. And just in the moment, it just helps you calm down. And it's subconscious because sometimes we try to give ourselves the pep talk like it's okay, don't worry about it, but we don't feel different. But EFT can
yeah.
help you feel different in minutes.
Wow. I love how EFT and NLP as well, which I'll get you to explain in a
Right.
second, is really linked in with manifestation, which I know you love and we love over here as well. So let's dive into NLP a little bit and then maybe we can talk about how manifestation can meet them both and how they can help each other.
Absolutely. Yeah. So NLP stands for Neuro Linguistic Programming. So I remember when I was sitting in my first NLP training, at first I was absolutely amazed because I was like, wait a second, there's this language of the mind that it's been existing there the whole time. I didn't just know how to use it. And then from that, I actually went to getting a little bit angry because I'm like, wait a second, there's this language that has been there the whole time that I could not feel a negative emotion. I could get rid of a limiting belief. I could stop getting in my own way. And nobody told me this. And so that lit up my passion actually to teach NLP and to teach how the subconscious mind works, because I really feel like it's a crime that so many people don't have access to this. Like, growing up in a very chaotic home, if I had had access to these tools, it would have led to a completely different way of being and way of feeling for me. And so to explain neurolinguistic programming, it's the language of your mind. So um, even though we speak in words, we think in these thought packages of um, visuals, like auditory, like something you hear and something you feel. We think in these thought packages. So if I say the word public speaking, some of you are going to have a vision in your mind of you public speaking and doing amazing and a huge round of applause. And those people who have that image in their mind, they're probably much better public speakers than those of you who, when I say the word public speaking, you might see yourself standing up on stage, cowering, you feel anxiety fill your body, you see people booing you, right? So these images that we have in our mind, it's like a language. And when you know NLP, you can work with that language of your mind to, for example, shift that inner experience of you being afraid of public speaking to shifting that inner experience of you now being confident public speaking. And when you have that image in your mind of that's who you are, that's your self image, that's how you show up, it actually leads you to perform better.
Wow. I love that. So it's kind of like the more you know, the more you can use to your advantage when manifesting.
Exactly. Yeah. And so a lot of people are trying to manifest by just using affirmations like, I think I can, I know I can do this, I can make $1 million. But because they're just speaking to their conscious mind, they don't actually see a change. And it's kind of like if you were to walk into a French restaurant and try to order in English, right? They might kind of bring you something similar, but overall, you'll probably be unhappy with it, or it's going to be really confusing for you to get the meal you want. Whereas if you walk into the French restaurant and you actually know French and you can say, okay, I want the pasta with the side of this, not too much cheese, whatever it is, you're going to get exactly what you want. So if somebody is telling their subconscious mind, like, I'm rich, I'm abundant, I'm a successful business owner, but it's only reaching the conscious mind, they're not reaching our subconscious, which our subconscious controls 95% of our daily actions, behaviors, emotions, and how we show up and how we get results. So knowing neuro-linguistic programming or knowing how to reach your subconscious mind is like a shortcut to changing how you show up, changing how you feel, and then the results that you get. And I'm such a testament to this because when I first started, I was afraid to do something like this, like speak on a live or public speaking or anything like that. And because I shifted my mindset, that opened up so many doors for me to do public speaking, to grow my online business, to attract clients. And so it's so important to like think in alignment with what you want and feel in alignment with what you want. And that's going to help you get the results that you want.
Oh my gosh, that was so inspiring.
Oh, I'm
I
happy to
feel like
hear.
I want to cut that little segment out and just play it in my ears over and over again. Thank you for explaining that. You have such a great way of explaining that, and also thank you for bringing your story in because I think so many people will relate. And I like how you mentioned it's all the little things in the lead up to achieving, say, a bigger goal or a bigger change or a shift in your life that actually matters. And I think people get so frustrated with the process sometimes when it's like we just need to enjoy the process and all of these little shifts and miracles that are occurring now, while they might not be the telltale that everything is about to change, you're on your way. And I love that analogy of the French restaurant as well. The more we know, the better and the clearer we can be. And EFT can really help you focus as well, because I know like focus is a really big part of manifestation, right? Focusing on what you want, focusing on you, quietening the outside noise and the competition. So, what would you do if you were struggling to focus? If it's something that you're manifesting, but also let's say that you've had a crazy morning with the kids, or you're feeling anxious, you're feeling here, there, and everywhere. Maybe it's that time of the month and you're just confused and lacking clarity. Is there something that you can do to align yourself and come back to that focus with EFT?
Yeah, absolutely. So EFT is just one of the tools that I teach and just one part of the process that I teach. So for me, manifesting really happens when you're alignment with that frequency. So I'm a big believer that thoughts exist almost like a radio frequency, like thoughts travel. So even though we can't see Wi-Fi, we believe that Wi-Fi works, right? Even though we can't see the telephone connection, echoing out, we know when we pick up the phone that there's someone there talking to us. So I'm a big believer that thoughts exist on a certain frequency too. And just like how when you adjust the radio, you can pick up on different songs, when you adjust the frequency that you're on, you can pick up on different ideas. So part of the manifestation process that I teach is first get really clear on what you want. So you're going to ask yourself the question, what would you ask for if you knew the answer was going to be yes? You're not going to simply make a goal based on who you used to be or limitations of the past, or I got a degree in this, so I guess I have to do that. You're going to ask yourself, like, if I could just wipe clear the slate and start fresh and wave a magic wand and I could have my life exactly like how I want it, what would I ask for if I knew the answer was going to be yes? And so from that place, you get clear on your vision, you get clear on your goal, and you get clear on the you who lives that life. And the you that lives that life feels a certain way and believes certain things. So, with that clarity, now what you can do, everyone has ups and downs, of course, but with that clarity, what you can do is aim to stay in that frequency as much as you can through your day. And when you're in that frequency, your intuition is going to pick up on, oh, maybe I should post this, or maybe I should join this course, or maybe I should start this business, or maybe I should, make this decision. Your intuition is going to pick up on inspired action that matches the frequency of that result you want. And where EFT can be a tool that comes into this is helping you stay on that frequency. So let's say you're on the frequency of I'm rich, I'm abundant, I'm successful, I add value to the world, and then someone cuts you off in traffic. At that point, you have a decision. You can stay at the vibration of I am rich, I'm abundant, I add value to the world, or you can get into the vibration of swearing at the guy who just cut you off, right? So in all of these moments in our day, we can respond or we can react, right? And so EFT can help us respond where maybe we say, you know what? Maybe that person's rushing to an emergency. I'm going to have compassion for that person. I'm going to keep driving. I'm going to get to where I'm going anyway, instead of reacting and giving someone the finger or whatever it is. And the more we're staying in alignment with that vibration we want, the easier it's going to be to pick up on ideas and synchronicities to get there. Now, that's not to say that people don't have ups and downs. It's not to say that we might be grieving a loved one or a certain situation that happens. Of course, life happens, things happen, but with a tool like EFT, it gives us the tools to manage our emotions and to think clearly when we're ready to move forward.
It sounds incredible. I'm really looking forward to like actually giving it a go and seeing how it works because I think that's something personally that I lack, where I am a good manifester. However, I can be taken out of it quite quickly. And I
Mhm.
think if I have the tools to bring me back to focus and back to that manifestation, back to that vibrational frequency, I think that it will really, really help me. So I'm really excited. Should we jump into the little mini live tapping session now? And then we might come back to, I want to hear some more personal things kind of about you and about
Sure,
tapping and
yeah,
about your manifestation journey. So, Reese,
yeah.
what I trust you in knowing, and feeling into what the collective might need, whether it's a little tapping session on like wealth mindset, on releasing fear, on releasing negativity, on courage, you choose. The Pass Around the Smile community trust you. And if you're happy to
Mhm.
just take us through a little session, and guys, if you're watching on video, that's great because you'll be able to see exactly what Reese is doing. If you're just listening, just take it in and just come back to the video when you can. We're at about it'll probably be about 20 minutes ish with the intro. So yeah, let's get into it.
Oh my goodness. Okay, so for a topic, I feel like a big topic that comes up is believing that what you want is on the way to you,
Oh
even
my
if,
gosh, yes.
the circumstances aren't reflecting that. So, does that sound like a good topic for you? Yeah, okay,
Yes.
and for your community, I
Yes,
mean?
that's the best. Yes.
Okay, amazing. So I'll do a little explainer of EFT first, and then we will hop into it. So first and foremost, I'll just share that this isn't to be used in replacement of working with a licensed or medical professional. So, if you're working with someone for some deep trauma or anything like that, definitely check in with them because this tool can bring up trauma, it can bring up memories, everything like that. And if you're experiencing emotions or feeling energy move, like maybe you're yawning, maybe some tears are coming up, everything like that, that's totally normal. And tears are a good thing. I could do a whole other podcast on this topic. Sometimes I hear people say, "Oh my gosh, I'm sorry for crying." It's like, I want you to cry if you need to. I don't want to make people cry, but I want you to cry because I would much rather those emotions come out of you than
Mm,
stay stuck within you. Okay. So it's okay to
yes.
cry. And then at the end, you might want to just give a nice stretch and have a glass of water because there is a lot of energy moved during EFT tapping.
Mm,
And then to start, what we're going to do is we're going to tune into an emotion that you feel like is not serving you. So in the case of what we're going to talk about today, it might be something along the lines of like disbelief, right? You know what you want, but you are lacking belief that it's actually going to show up for you. So you're going to tune into that feeling of disbelief, rate it on a scale of 0 to 10, how intense it is. And ideally, let's say you start off at a 7, ideally, the more you tap on the negative, the more you're going to get down to a 0 where that emotion isn't bothering you anymore. So we'll do one round of tapping out the uncomfortable emotion. And if you feel like you need more, just rewatch that until you feel like it's a 0 or close to a 0. And then we'll do one round of tapping in the opposite. So the creator of EFT tapping, Gary Craig, always recommended that you tap out the negative emotion first or the problem first, and then that leaves space for you to tap in the new feelings or the new beliefs that you want to form that new neural pathway. So we'll one round of negative, one round of positive, and keep a mental note of the feelings because I definitely want to hear. Maybe you can come on my Instagram and let me know how you felt after doing the EFT tapping, or come on Chloe's Instagram, let her know how you felt.
yeah,
Sound
definitely.
good?
Definitely get in touch. I'm so excited. Okay.
Okay, amazing. So, what we're going to do is you can bring up your hand and just tap on the side of your hand. And 3 times we're going to talk. Oh, wait, no, before we do that, I want you to tap into the emotion. So, on a scale of 0 to 10, that feeling of disbelief, that feeling of doubt, that feeling of, oh, what if it never happens? How intense is that? So, 0 is you don't feel it at all, and 10 is, you really feel like this is never going to happen. So, rate that and just make a mental note for yourself. Okay, so maybe it's a 7, maybe it's a 4, whatever that is, make a mental note. And now we're going to go tap on the side of the hand. Okay, so you can just tap on the side of your hand and say, even though I'm feeling this disbelief, and just repeat after me, I deeply love and accept myself. Even though I'm feeling this disbelief that what I want is showing up, I deeply and completely love and accept myself. Even though I'm feeling this doubt and disbelief that I can have what I want, I deeply love and accept myself. Okay, great. So now we're going to start at the top of the head. You can just tap kind of where you might part your hair. I'm feeling so much disbelief. And just repeat after me while you're feeling the emotions, focusing in on the emotions. I'm feeling so much doubt. I'm worried this is not going to happen for me. And even though I'm feeling this way, I deeply love and accept myself. Great. And now you can move next to your eyebrow. I'm just feeling so much disbelief. I know what I want, but I'm not seeing it in my reality. I really want it now. and I don't know what I have to do to make it show up. Now you can go to the side of the eye. So right beside your eye, kind of where that bone is. I'm feeling all this doubt. And focus in on where the doubt is in your body. I'm feeling all this doubt. It feels like it's mounting more and more. I find it so hard to believe that I can have this. It feels uncomfortable and unfair. And you can go underneath the eye. I find it hard to believe that I deserve this. I feel like I might be greedy if I get this. And even though I'm feeling this way, I deeply love and accept myself. And you can move to underneath the nose. So just like in that middle area there. I don't see myself as the type of person who can have this. The person who gets to have that thing is not someone like me. And even though I'm feeling all this limitation within me, I deeply love and accept myself. And now you can move to your chin. So if you have like a little dip in your chin like me, you can go there and tap. I'm finding it hard to take the actions. Or maybe the actions that I'm taking are not leading to the results. My behaviors are self-sabotaging me. It feels like no matter what I do, it's not enough. And even though I'm having this doubt and disbelief, I deeply and completely love and accept myself. Okay, and then you can go to just underneath your collarbone, there. I'm feeling so much doubt. I'm feeling so much disbelief. I'm so worried about what will happen. And it's festering into so much anxiety. And even though I'm feeling this way, I deeply love and accept myself. And then you can move to beside your rib cage. All this doubt and all this disbelief. I'm finding it so hard to believe when I just don't see it yet. How long is it going to take for this to show up in my life? And then you can go to your wrists. Just tap your wrists together. And even though I'm feeling all this doubt, I deeply love and accept myself. And even though I'm feeling all this disbelief, I deeply love and accept myself. Okay, amazing. Congrats to everyone who was following along. And if there's a lot of emotions coming up or thoughts coming up or beliefs coming up, that's totally normal. It's nothing to fear or it's nothing to hide. It's just subconscious beliefs that you are likely very ready to process. So that is a good thing. Often I will go through the negative or uncomfortable emotions twice. So if someone is still feeling the doubt or disbelief, just rewind the video or the audio and go through it again. But now is a great time to check in on that emotion. So if you started at a 7, if you started at a 4, where is it now? Is it a 2? Is it a 1? Is it a 0? If it's a 0, you're in an amazing place to move forward to tapping in new positive beliefs that will support you. How are you feeling, Cleo?
Uh, I'm feeling really, like, enlightened.
Okay, good.
I honestly,
Good.
I loved that. I really, really loved that, and I was kinda like, obviously, because we're doing this live podcast now, and a part of me was like, "Is the internet still working?" And I'm watching that you're recording properly, and I was like, "I
Yeah.
cannot wait to do this properly myself when I'm fully relaxed." And everything that you were saying just really hit home for me. So I think it's like the topic that you have chosen to do this on today. Thank you, because I think I didn't realize how much I needed it. And I think honestly, I am just so 100% sure my community are going to be obsessed with you. Like they're
Oh,
literally
I'm
going to
so
be
happy.
so obsessed with you. So oh my god, thank you. I'm just so excited. So now we
Yeah.
do the
Let's do the
positive.
positive. Let's do the positive. Yeah. And I find what happens for me and for my clients is a lot of the time a thought comes up like, wait, that's a limiting belief I have. That's feeling. So
Mm,
definitely you can take some time after to like journal on it, process it, use other tools on
yeah.
it if needed. But yeah, it's such a great tool to like unearth things as well.
Yeah, and I think what I love about how you did that, and like yes, that was like the more negative side of things, but I think it's so important, as you mentioned before, to actually acknowledge our negativity, our frustrations, our
Yeah.
sadness, instead of just like putting a band-aid on them and
Suppressing it.
moving on. So it was just very validating. Like everything that you were saying was just like, it's okay and it's normal to feel this way sometimes. And
Yeah.
I hope my all my community know that when you are tapping into these negative emotions, you're not bringing more of it into your life. Like you are releasing it. This is the real work. Like this is the
Yeah.
work that creates real change. And like we literally have the Reese from Yes Supply with us doing it like live. So this is really incredible. So yeah, honestly, thank you. And also, guys, just so you know, I'm obviously not saying it out loud because I don't want to wreck what you're feeling and hearing. So I think that you guys, like, we should be saying it out loud. Is that right, Reese? Or should we say it in our minds?
It's it helps a lot to say it out loud because then you
I thought so.
can
Yep.
process it. You can mute
Great.
yourself if you want.
Oh,
And then just
true.
I
I'm
always
gonna
mute
stuff
myself.
something up. I'm gonna stuff something up if I mute it. Then I won't be able to unmute myself. But I just know that I'm coming back to this and actually listening to
Okay.
the podcast and doing it properly. But yeah, guys, I'm not repeating Reese's words because it's gonna wreck what you're hearing, just so you know. But I want you guys to make sure you are saying it out loud.
Oh my gosh. Amazing. Amazing. I'm so glad to hear that you're feeling shifts and it's unearthing things for you. So that's beautiful. So now we'll go ahead and we'll just tap in some positive beliefs. So ideally you're at a 0. So rewind if you need to. But either way, feel free to move forward when it feels aligned to you. So what we like to do now is we like to think of what is the opposite of that, right? So if we're feeling disbelief, if we're feeling doubt, then the opposite would be I know my success is inevitable. I know it's coming to me. I know it'll show up. I'm going to keep taking action. I'm not going to say, what if I do all this work and it doesn't work out? Yeah, I'm going to say, I'm doing all of this because I know it is working out for me. It's showing up for me. So we're going to tap this in to our neural pathways. All right. So we can go ahead. We can go ahead and start at the top of our head again. I totally believe in myself. I am 100% sure this is on the way to me. I deeply love myself and I deeply accept myself. I know that this goal showing up for me is for the greater good of all. When I create my yes life or my best life, I'm proof to others of what is possible. I know I'm fully supported in my dream. Then you can move next to your eyebrow again. When I look in the mirror, I see myself as someone who has this. I am already the person who has this life. It's easy for me to have a life just like this. And it's easy for me to maintain a life like this. When people around me see me live a life like this, they are so happy for me. When people around me see me attract this into my life, they are excited for me and celebrate me. So I don't have to be fearful of having this when there is so much good on the other side. Now you can move next to your eye. I have the habits of a person who has this life. I find myself in flow all the time. I easily take inspired action that leads to my dreams. I know when my emotions, thoughts, and actions line up, my success is completely inevitable. And underneath the eye, when I think of this goal, I know it's already mine. It feels totally normal for me. I see myself having it. I feel myself having it. I know it's mine. Underneath the nose, I feel so excited in my body that this is happening to me. And my subconscious mind can see all the ways that this lined up for me. I was so supported. I was so loved. And I was so guided to this all happening for me. Underneath the mouth or in your chin, I believe that my success is inevitable. I know that this is happening for me now. My subconscious mind sees so many ways that this is happening for me now. It's so easy for me to believe that this is possible. And you can go to the collarbone. I am celebrating receiving the end result. And I am also enjoying the journey as well. Because every day of my life is an absolute miracle. Every day of my life is something to celebrate. And I celebrate receiving the end result, as well as celebrating the person I'm becoming every day. And we can move to beside the rib cage. Everything is happening for me in a positive way. I believe that each and every day things get better and better. And I deeply and completely love and accept myself. And now we can just go to the wrists and just tap your wrists together. And you can just say out loud, it is mine. It's mine. And you can just feel it in your body. It is mine. You can hear the sounds, feel the feeling, see the sights. It is mine. Amazing.
I loved that so much. And
I'm
like,
so
thank you
happy.
for being so generous with what you have given the Pass Around the Smile community. Like, that was huge. That's like, it's just so valuable for them all and for me to go back to and to do. And just so everyone knows, Reese puts a lot of this stuff up on her Instagram. So a lot of like tutorials, a lot of you've got like bits and pieces, whether it's EFT tapping or just like you being motivational, talking about your beliefs, talking about NLP. Like there's a lot that Reese gives out. Like you're a very positive and educational person to follow. And I will be putting all your links in the show notes. But honestly, thank you. That was so powerful. Everything that you said, I was like, oh my gosh.
I'm so happy to hear. And yeah, I feel like the EFTs on the Instagram are so great because it's like a tester, like a 1 minute, but you just
Mm,
get so much out of it when you spend, I don't know how much time we spent here, like 10 minutes. You get just so much
yeah.
time out of it when you really go deep and really feel the emotions, not just like do it for 1 minute and then scroll to the next
The next
crazy
thing.
negative thing that's on
Yeah.
Instagram.
Yeah. Oh, 100%. No, honestly, thank you so much. I have a couple of I have a couple more questions I'd love to ask you
Yeah.
regarding your kind of personal journey with
Hmm.
EFT. And I really want to know, was there something that you once believed about yourself that tapping then helped you release for good?
Wow. There's like I could sit here and just tell you thousands of things.
Wow.
The biggest one that's coming to mind for me though is when I got pregnant with my first child, I then realized, oh my gosh, I have so many negative beliefs around pregnancy and birth.
Mm,
I actually realized
mm,
I'm afraid of giving birth based on what I heard and what I was programmed with. And I'm like, in 9 months, this baby's gonna come out of me, right?
yep.
It's gonna come out one way or another. So I'm gonna have to figure this out. So I deep dove into subconscious reprogramming my mind around birth because it's funny. It becomes so normalized we don't even realize it. But it's like growing up, every movie, it's like the mom giving birth was like, like just it's
Mm,
just portrayed as like the worst thing ever.
mm,
And even like elders in my family, like aunts and my mom and that type of thing just talked about giving birth and so I realized, oh my gosh, I have a lot of negative beliefs that I have 9 months to sort out. And so I went
yeah.
deep dive into subconscious reprogramming, and I used quite a few of the tools that I teach in Yes Supply. So I did hypnobirthing, which is hypnosis, which we didn't get to touch on today, but that's another great way to access the subconscious mind. And actually bought a hypnosis, even though I'm a hypnotist, I also bought a hypnosis course. I always invest in myself. So I bought the Hypno Babies course, and it was life changing. And I used EFT through the process as well. Whenever I realized I have this fear, I have this limiting belief, I'm expecting the worst case scenario. I'm worried that my body won't know what to do. I used EFT to reframe it and replace it with my body knows exactly what to do. Women have been having babies for years and years and years. Like my body knows how to do it too. I'm going to have a beautiful birth. It's going to be amazing. And I'm so blessed and grateful because I had two beautiful natural births, one in a hospital, but no medication or anesthesia. And then that first birth gave me a lot of confidence with the process. So in my second one, I had a home birth.
Oh, wow, what a beautiful story. I did hypnobirthing as well, and
Did you? Yeah.
I had the most beautiful, incredible birth and had like a full spiritual awakening during
Oh,
that transition
wow.
phase that like so
Beautiful.
thank you for sharing that because I've shared my story with my community as well, and so many women have said that they've loved it and that it's helped them. So I know so many women will listen to what you have just said and really, really resonate. So It's great, and it's great to know that we have these tools. They are
Yeah.
accessible. We can use them whenever we want. And that's a choice that we get to make. You get to choose to rid yourself of the beliefs that are in your subconscious at the moment. They're not stuck there. Like we
Yeah.
think that we become attached to them forever, but it's just not true.
Yeah, sometimes they become so intense we think it's reality, but it's a belief. I remember I watched like YouTube after YouTube after YouTube of positive birth stories and positive birth videos because, growing up I had seen so many negative movies
Yeah.
and whatever, so I'm like, let me use repetition to reprogram my mind of like another beautiful birth, another easy birth,
Yes.
another perfect birth, so I could program my mind with the belief that I wanted to think instead of the belief that I didn't want to think anymore.
Oh, that's so great. And for my community, you will be able to hear through what Reese is saying exactly what I've told you guys about repetition as well, and attaching that feel good emotion to the repetition. Like when you want to change something within yourself, like within your beliefs, you can. And these are the ways to do it. So this is just such an exciting and powerful conversation. Like, thank you so much. And I think my last question is kind of on, the days where we're feeling low, we're feeling negative, we are stuck in, like, we have no faith because let's say what we are wanting, it's not showing up. And that's why we just did that tapping session.
Mhm.
They are probably the days where we should do tapping the most. But do
Yeah.
you really need to believe in tapping for it to work?
No, no. And
Great.
a great example of that is think about people who have manifested success without knowing tapping exists, without even knowing manifestation exists. Like I think I teach, and I'm sure maybe you teach it as well because you had to go through this process to believe it. And I know for me, I teach manifestation because I had to learn manifestation to understand how it was really working. But
Mm.
there are so many powerful manifestors out there that decide I want this and go create it and never crack open a Joseph Murphy book or or a Neville Goddard book, right? Because manifestation, it's about getting clear on what it is that you want, believing that it can happen, feeling like it can happen, and acting in alignment with it. I feel like at the end of the day, those are some of the main cruxes of it. And so if you can do that on your own, especially someone who might have not have had negative programming around money, like, someone grows up rich and wealthy and successful and their parents have multiple businesses, it's going to be very easy for them to be like, yeah, of course I'm going to start a business because they were surrounded by it. But if somebody grew up with their parent working 3 jobs to get by and never having enough, starting a business might feel a little bit out of reach. And this is where learning about manifestation, learning about mindset can help because it helps someone realize even if this is my past, it doesn't define what I'm getting to create in my future.
Wow. And what a beautiful, beautiful note to end on. Thank you so much, Reese, again for just being so generous and, yeah, so lovely. My community are going to, as I said, be obsessed with you and love this episode. And I know it's going to be one that so many come back to over and over and over again, including myself. So, where can we find you? I will put the links in the show notes, but tell us for those that are listening and can't look at the show notes right now.
Absolutely. Well, I'm a long form content girl. So
Love
where you
that.
can go really in depth with, what I teach and that type of thing is on my YouTube channel actually.
Perfect.
So, learning about the science of EFT, business stuff, coaching stuff, all of that, you can just search Yes Supply on YouTube. But then I also have an Instagram where I post every day and there's a lot of like short EFTs and mini teachings and trainings like what you said where we squeeze it into a minute because that's what they tell us to do on the algorithm, right?
Yeah.
So you can find me on Instagram at Yes Supply as well. And then on my website, I have new blogs coming out all the time and lots of free trainings on the subconscious mind, on business, on becoming a coach, and, so much more.
Great. Thank you so much. It's been an absolute pleasure.
Thank you. So happy to be here.
Thank you so much for listening to another Pass Around the Smile episode, and what a powerful one it was, thanks to Reese Evans. I've popped her links in the show notes, and I want to say a big thank you to Community Brew for sponsoring this episode.